The Supreme Court dealing a major setback to former President Trump this week, allowing the release of some of his tax records to House Democrats. And as you might expect, Trump had quite a few thoughts about the ruling on Truth Social, saying, quote, "Why would anyone be surprised that the Supreme Court has ruled against me? They always do. It is unprecedented to be handing over tax returns, and it creates terrible precedent for future presidents." Well, let's bring in former Republican Minnesota Senator. There he is, Norm Coleman, to discuss the latest decision. Norm, what was your reaction, first of all, that the Supreme Court ruled that he does have to hand over? It's 6 years' worth. It's personal and business taxes. What are your thoughts?
The first, Rudy, by the way, I was also Solicitor General of the state of Minnesota, so I know a little bit about this stuff. But, I got to tell you, it was a big yawn. The Supreme Court has actually done pretty well with the appointments that Trump has made, so I'm not going to beat up on them. This was a two-sentence decision, just as a matter of law. They didn't even look at the motive of Congress. But a couple of things. One, the party of the Democrats is over January 3rd. The New York Times in 2020 released 2 decades of Trump tax returns, and found out that the president used whatever legal means he could use as a businessman to try to lower his taxes. But of course, by the way, Democrats, their religion is to raise taxes, increase spending, and then, of course, inflation is a tax on the middle class. So, they're tax happy. This is a nothing story. I think the bigger concern, Rita, is Jack Smith as a special prosecutor that Merrick Garland appointed recently. So I think they're trying to, and it's really a shame. It's not just a former president, it's also a candidate now for the presidency. So the Democrats are looking to, impact the political system. I have no doubt this was political. From a legal perspective, though, it's a big nothing. It's a big yawn. In the end, the party is over for the Democrats on January 3rd. Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker of the House. And so I think this is not going to make a big difference. There's nothing going to come out of this that's going to kind of shake the public up or undermine the support that President Trump has with his supporters.
It's interesting. You talk about the politics of it. Congressman Lloyd Doggett, he's on the Ways and Means Committee as a Democrat, said members of the panel may have to work through weekends, through holidays to review the Trump tax returns, because as you talk about, they have that narrow window between now and January 3rd. Here he is talking earlier in the week on CNN. I just want to get your reaction to this, Norm.
There certainly is the alternative of making these documents public, and the time pressure here creates an added reason to consider doing that. But there is a way that we can forward those tax returns to the House, and the House can act on this.
So, when you hear all this, Norm, it's like they're trying to hurry it up and, to your point, use it maybe politically to at least get something out before January 3rd. Are you worried they're going to try to at least pull, even if it's just bits and pieces out?
No, I think they probably will. But so what? Rita, your previous segment, the border's out of control. Inflation is still running rampant. Crime is still out of control. America is still embarrassed, around the world based on the actions of this administration in places like Afghanistan. And they're worried about Donald Trump's tax returns the last 6 years. And so I think this is a big nothing. I think in the end, it's not going to, there's nothing that's come out of this that's going to be so earth-shattering, earth-shaking. But clearly, Democrats don't want to focus on the real problems facing America. They're still totally focused on Donald J. Trump. And that's a shame for the people they're supposed to represent.
No, you're right. It is Trump, Trump, Trump all the time. We even saw it in the midterms, even though he wasn't even on the ballot for the midterms, but everything seems to be focused. Norm, you brought up the point right away, and I think it's an important one, about Jack Smith, the independent counsel that has now been appointed there, the special counsel. How do you think this entangles things for the president? Because look at the timing of this, Norm. He comes out, makes the announcement. Then, of course, the House gets the majority and says, OK, we're going to start looking into Hunter and the border, a lot of these issues that you just talked about that are very important. And then suddenly it comes out from the DOJ that there's going to be, a special counsel. How much consuming do you think this is going to be for the president? And again, Talk about the double standards. You've got a sitting president. You have the questions about Hunter Biden, and there's no independent counsel there, Norm.
Well, first of all, it is a shame. It is a shame that the Department of Justice has been so politicized, has been weaponized against parents who are concerned about what their kids are learning in school, weaponized against pro-life peaceful protesters who have 20 FBI agents with guns and bulletproof vests come and arrest them. And so the politicization, the weaponization of the Department of Justice is really unfortunate. For somebody like me who worked as I was also chief prosecutor in the Attorney General, worked with the FBI, good men and women committed to upholding the law, and I think their reputation has been trashed by this administration. So in the end, this is something that the president can't take his eye off him. But I don't think it's going to move him one way or the other. Again, the party for the Democrats is over January 3rd. I hope that the House uses its power to get real accountability for this administration on things. By the way, again, your last segment on the border, on things like the president, by the way, and his son, and the dealing that they had, and whether that undermines Americans' national security. So listen, it's Trump, Trump, Trump. Democrats have tried everything they can do to try to upend the president. We'll see how it plays out. The president, by the way, still has to worry about 8 or 10 other Republicans who also want to be president. So yeah, this is not a given. He clearly is still the lead dog. He's still the most popular person in the party. But there are a number of folks, Ron DeSantis, among others, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, and all. I think they're looking at 2024. So president's got to be juggling. President Trump has to be juggling a lot of balls as he looks forward to the future.
Yeah, it is going to be a busy, busy time. And of course, he's the first one to announce, but it's going to be interesting to see who else gets into the ring. Norm, thank you on so many great topics. I'm so glad to have you here and get your perspective.
Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.